Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's presentation about family law. My name is Melek Nassar and I'm a project manager here at Community Legal Information. In today's presentation, we're going to be covering the basics of family law, including topics such as separation and divorce, parenting time, dispute resolution, and I'm also going to be sharing some helpful resources at the end. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that Community Legal Information is located on Ebiguit, and Ebiguit is unceded Mi'kmaq land. The Mi'kmaq have occupied this land for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Ebiguit is also covered by the Treaties of Peace and Friendship, and I encourage you all to learn about the Treaties of Peace and Friendship because we are all treaty people. A little bit about Community Legal Information is that we are a charitable organization and not-for-profit here on Prince Edward Island, and our mandate is to provide PEI residents with understandable and useful information about the laws and the justice system. As you can see in our table of contents, today we're going to be covering separation and divorce, parenting, dispute resolution, and taking legal action. So let's get started with the basics of separation and divorce. Alright, so who does the law consider to be spouses? According to family law, spouses are two people who are legally married or who have lived together in a sexual relationship for 3 or more years, or who are living together in a sexual relationship and are the natural or adoptive parents of 1 or more children. Spouses can be two people of any gender, and unmarried spouses are called common law spouses. Now, what is separation? Separation is when you and your spouse are no longer in a relationship. It becomes legal when you and your spouse start living separately. One common question we get is about separation agreements and what they are. So a separation agreement is a contract between the separating spouses that covers a lot of things, including division of property or parenting. It could also include many other things. You don't have to have a separation agreement, but having one can be very helpful and useful, especially in the future if there's disagreements between the spouses. So what about divorce? What is divorce? Divorce is the legal end of a marriage. For common law spouses or unmarried spouses, separation ends the relationship. They do not get a divorce, but for legal spouses, they can get a divorce. Divorce can be contested or uncontested. An uncontested divorce is when the spouses agree on everything, including division of property and parenting. When it comes to division of property, property is divided differently based on whether the spouses were married or common law. For married spouses, property and debts are usually divided equally between the spouses. In some situations, a judge may order the unequal division of property, or you and your spouse may agree to divide property unequally. For unmarried or common law spouses, the spouse who owns the property is the only one entitled to it. You are also not responsible for each other's debt, and you may claim a portion of a property owned by your spouse if you put time and money towards it. You can also agree to share property and debt. Now let's talk about spousal support. What is spousal support? Spousal support is money paid by one spouse to another to help them with ongoing expenses after a separation or a divorce. Spousal support is not automatic. The person asking for the support has to prove that they're entitled to it. We've talked about the basics of separation and divorce. Now let's talk about the basics of parenting. Who is a parent? A parent can be a mother or a father or anyone who acts as a parent to the child. In adoptions, when a child is legally adopted, the adoptive parents become the child's legal parents with all the same rights and responsibilities. In 2020, there were changes to the Divorce Act that changed some of the language we used around parenting. What used to be called custody and access is now referred to as decision-making responsibility and parenting time. So parenting time is the time a child spends in the care of a parent. The parent with parenting time can make everyday decisions for the child while they're in their care. Decision-making responsibility is the responsibility to make important decisions for the child. That could include decisions about the child's health, their education, their culture, their language and spirituality, and even their significant extracurricular activities. A parenting plan is where all of that information goes. So, a parenting plan is a document between parents that includes information about the parenting time for the child and how that's going to look like, and who has the decision-making responsibility for that child. A court can make changes to a parenting plan to make sure it matches the child's best interests. Child support is the financial responsibility a parent has towards their dependent child. Child support is determined based on the federal child support guidelines, and there's a table there to calculate it. Child support can be set up with a child support agreement between the parents that is based on the federal guidelines, or via a court order. Child support agreements and parenting agreements are different things. They can be created at the same time, but they are different issues. For example, a parent may have no parenting time and still be required to pay child support. And if a parent is not paying their child support, they cannot be denied their parenting time. Okay, now let's talk about dispute resolution. Dispute resolution is resolving conflicts outside of court. In family law, the law says you must try to resolve conflicts through dispute resolution before going to court. There's many types of dispute resolution. There's negotiation, which is when you and the other parent negotiate together to try and reach an agreement. There's mediation, which is when you, the other parent, and a mediator, who is a neutral third party, work together to try and reach an agreement. And there's collaborative practice, which is when you and the other parent hire collaborative practice lawyers and work together, sometimes with other professionals, to reach an agreement outside of court. But what happens if dispute resolution doesn't work? If dispute resolution doesn't work, you and the other parent may go to court and ask a judge to decide. It is only possible if out-of-court options didn't work. Parents have responsibilities in a dispute resolution process. The parents must protect their children from conflict, make decisions that are in the best interest of their child, provide complete, accurate, and up-to-date information, and they must comply with any court orders. Okay, let us now talk about taking legal action and things you might want to consider. You may be wondering, should I take legal action, or when should I go to court? You may consider going to court if out-of-court options haven't worked, or if dispute resolution is not appropriate for your situation. If you end up going to court and if there's a child involved, the court makes its decisions based on the child's best interests. So what are the factors that the court considers when they're considering the child's best interests? The court looks at the child's needs, including their need for stability, family violence, the plans to care for the child, any criminal or civil matters that might affect the child's security and well-being, the child's relationship with their parents and other important people in their life, and any disruption to the child's care or their life. What is family violence? Family violence is any form of violence by one family member against another. Some examples of that include physical violence, such as hitting or biting or scratching or punching, emotional abuse, depriving someone of the necessities of life, any sexual activity without consent, and threatening injury to someone or property damage, and forcing someone to stay in a room. Now let's talk about some family law court orders. We'll start with a contact order. A contact order is when a judge orders that someone who is not a parent, so for example, a family member or a grandparent, can have contact with the child. That person has to apply and get permission with the court to get a contact order. Next up is a parenting order. A parenting order is a court order that gives decision-making responsibility and parenting time to a parent or someone who acts as a parent. You can apply for a parenting order if you are the child's parent, a children's lawyer, or someone who acts as a parent to a child. A parenting order can include instructions about parenting time and decision-making responsibility, communication with the other parent during parenting time, relocation of either parent, and supervision of parenting time or supervision of transfers between parents if that is needed. Finally, I'll be sharing with you some resources that you can find here at CLE, as well as external resources available to you in the community. Here at Community Legal Information, we offer several legal guides about different legal topics, including family law. The list you can see on the screen right now has some of our family law publications. Family Violence and the Law covers the Victims of Family Violence Act. Parenting in the Law has information about parenting time, decision-making responsibility, and child support. Family Law Essentials covers the basics of family law that everyone should know. Grandparents Parenting has information for grandparents who may be acting as parents to a child or looking to apply for a contact order. A parenting plan for PEI families is a do-it-yourself workbook that can help you create a parenting plan with the other parent. How to Go to Family Court Without a Lawyer is a handbook for people who are looking to self-represent in family court. And finally, Resolving Conflict Outside of Court helps you look at the different out-of-court options for family law issues. If you would like to look at our family law resources, you can use your phone to scan the QR code on the screen. We also offer different services and programs. Some of our services include presentations such as this one, as well as in person, publications, as I had mentioned, or legal guides about different legal topics. We host a legal info line where you can contact us and one of our legal navigators can help answer some of your legal questions. They can also help refer you to other services or refer you to a lawyer if you're eligible. Our lawyer referral service, however, is not for legal work or representation. It is only for legal advice. It is also not an emergency service, so it may take up to 30 days to meet with one of our volunteer lawyers. If you'd like to contact us about any of our services or programs, you can do so through phone, email, or go to our website and contact us through the contact form there. You can also drop in person, and our address is on the screen. Some of our other services and programs include the RISE program, which helps people who've experienced intimate partner violence, sexual violence, or workplace sexual harassment with legal information and up to 4 hours of free legal advice, as well as support navigating the justice system. Renting PEI helps both tenants and landlords with legal information about renting law. The Justice Avenues program helps racialized people living on PEI with questions about family law, criminal law, or immigration law. Our Divorce Form Builder is a do-it-yourself tool that helps you apply for an uncontested divorce. And the Cyberbullying Project, or cyberbullying workshops, are workshops for youth and parents or caregivers of youth about cyberbullying. Other services and programs that you may find helpful are the Family Law Navigator, who can help you navigate your family law issue through the justice system. Triple P Parenting, which is a parenting program for free for parents. The Child-Focused Parenting Plan Mediation, which is a free provincial service that can help separating parents create a parenting plan. The Child Support Office. The Maintenance Enforcement Program, which helps with enforcing child support orders and agreements. And finally, resources through the Federal Department of Justice about family law, including booklets for about information for kids whose parents are getting a separation or a divorce. Thanks for joining me for today's presentation. As mentioned, Community Legal Information is a registered charity and not-for-profit organization. So if you found this presentation helpful, please consider making a donation. Also, share this presentation with your family and friends or people who you know might find it helpful.